this could just be a temporary video unless it's really good. I'm a screenwriter, movie maker. I made Schizophrenia the movie, and I made New Devils. You can watch those and just consider how original they are in terms of having new ideas that people can write for. This video is about 5 sci-fi franchises that I have that I'm trying to get other writers to join my team, other writers to be with me and write inside of my world, different stories inside of my original sci-fi ideas. I have 5 original sci-fi ideas that I would love to get new writers or other writers or established writers or people that write to join on and just keep me company, be on my team, and make me feel like a valuable person. I have autism really bad. It's like makes me really annoying, and I don't have people in my life. And I live in a small country city in Pennsylvania that there's not a lot of opportunities to get to know people that could insulate me while I'm trying to make a career for myself. So I'm reaching out to people online. If you're a writer, if you can do screenwriting or if you can do fiction writing, consider writing a story inside of one of my worlds. And you have to attribute the world to me, and we'll be friends and meet up like every now and then, like 2 times a month or once a month, and talk about the goals of the company. I'm a filmmaker. I'm really expansive in terms of how broad I am across so many ideas and so many projects that I've worked on and have writing for, and films for, but have writing for. If you look into my playlist, you can see all 5 of these sci-fi ideas have, 2 of them have about 20 pages. Well, a little bit more than 20 pages, but I didn't update the thing with the little, but it's not important. Some of them are finished screenplays that are short. I have a 66-page screenplay for Earth Girls on Jupiter, a 60-page screenplay for Alice Lee in Wonderland, and a 70-page screenplay for Causality RIP. I'm going to talk about all 5 of these ideas that are original ideas that you're able to write for that have not been done before, or if they have been done, please comment and let me know that it's not original, that someone else has done it before me. But I think they're all original. I don't read or watch movies as much as most people do who are in the writing field, because I try. My theory is that if I insulate myself and just do things from like dreams and personal philosophies and interpretations, I watch a lot of documentary TV, so I get a lot of my ideas from how I think it would be in real life, if like taking that to a wild extreme from like how the universe works, or something on Science Channel or History Channel. That's why I like to watch Science Channel and History Channel in terms of what I consume. I'm going to try to go through the list of the 5 ideas that I'm looking for writers that could write an original story for. And I would also, if you're experienced, I can team up with you in terms of writing, like being a collaborating for the world, where you would be adapting my original screenplay and I could write the next screenplay, and we could work on building what I have of the world together in terms of what I plan on contributing in the writing for my worlds. The first world I'm going to start with is one that I'm outsourcing almost all of it for. When I thought of it, it's the most easiest idea in the whole world. It is so easy. I've already done the filmmaking part of what you need to do the filmmaking in Schizophrenia the movie. It's about AI. It's about it's about these college students who develop their own original AI, kind of AI, using chemical vault processors. They use synthetic hormones that you have to keep filling into the vault, that are released periodically in order to, by how you have developed your AI in terms of social development. It releases hormones by a natural interpretation of how humans develop. And these are AI that have unique personalities that are not connected to an internet or a larger computer mainframe for themselves. They are uniquely themselves inside of the chemical vault, and they just interact with computers. They are not they don't have access to directly correspond with all of the information that could come from the data banks, and they run on a human rate processing system in which they have to get the chemicals have to leak into the chemical vault in order to get them to work. And these AI are like artificial sims, human sims, artificial humans. They create life, artificial human kind of unique personalities that, and the goal for the greater franchise would be to separate the AI from the massive internet, or a general kind of consumption area where they would just be unique to the owner. They will consume their growth abilities from how well they are taken care of by their owners. And I have a 20-page screenplay. I started the second one that only got about 5 pages, but this is something I'm trying to outsource, and my goal would be to pay for it and have it delivered to me as a home studio talent that I'm paying for. After I reach a certain amount of success, I could pay $5 million for season 1. Once I have that kind of money, then we can go into making like an 18 episode season for $5 million, and I would get 50%, and 50% would be distributed amongst in gross. I'm not a jet person. I believe in gross. When I say it's a percent, it's on a gross. The money that comes into the studio is grossly distributed amongst the people that worked on the product. So it's not going to be like a Lord of the Rings kind of debacle or catastrophe where people don't get paid. You will get paid your gross royalties that are assigned to you on a point system. And I'm going to be outsourcing that to have it delivered to me. So this has a lot of liberty in it. These are going to be series, either in TV, episodic TV series, or in a movie franchise in which multiple movies are made in them. The second one I'm going to talk about is Earth Girls on Jupiter. Now, Earth Girls on Jupiter is my contribution to the series. The series wouldn't be called, the franchise wouldn't be Earth Girls on Jupiter. We would have to come up for a name for the franchise. But in this series, Saturn and Jupiter, the oceans, we colonize the oceans in the moons of Saturn and Jupiter. And we can do that if we learn how to do it on Earth, like around Antarctica. If we can learn how to build a stable city environments, then we can transfer them into space and start building them up and have people live there. And my trilogy takes place far into the future, like 300 years after they began doing that. There's colony on all of Saturn and Jupiter's moons, maybe more than one on some of the moons, and they can travel between the moon systems. And every 20 years, there's a 4-year period in which you can move between Saturn and Jupiter in terms of the transport systems. They have VR, and it's like a Matrix quality VR where you can hook up to it and you can leave it voluntarily, slowly come out of it. And in terms of it being dangerous, the VR, you can just get out of it and wake up in the transport or wherever you're at. And everyone out there has to have a VR port. And this technology comes from a psychic fish that was out there. Before we learned how to harness the psychic abilities of this fish that uses psychic sensory data in order, it's a sentient being, is super smart. It has cultures. The psychic fish, and it's just on one of the moons on Jupiter, and we use that fish to stabilize and keep the programming inside of the VR, that we control the programming, and they're just moving inside of it, and they can't change things based upon how how their mind is working. And the fish is going to be a big part about how the fish have a culture and they're able to integrate into the world. Now, I can outsource the book translations, adaptations of my screenplays with working together as a team. But beyond that, this solar system kind of Jupiter and Saturn franchise can be written for. What I'm asking for is a push, and it's supposed to be animes. My company is supposed to be looking for animes to make in the future, in the far future, that we can keep pushing out more movies from this world that are just don't cost too much to make because they're cartoons. And that is the point of anime, to make complicated movies that are not hard to make because they're cartoons. And we're going to be doing that for the space opera, their romances, their social stories, their dramas. It's just like a human experience. And they also have the VR world, so you think you're just inside of the spaceships or the submarine city, the underwater cities, but they can just put on the VR and go anywhere inside of a programming that just appear anywhere inside of places that they can make. There could be VR ports that take them to Earth or to fantasy worlds. The third franchise is Causality franchise. This is a new franchise. This is a third franchise. This is about time travelers. Now, my theory for time travel, if it was real, this is my most scientific interpretation of it, that if we travel through time, the Earth is not going to be where the Earth is at. So we have to travel through time in spaceships. And they travel through time in spaceships. They go into the past, and then they have to move towards the Earth, and the Earth is coming. The sun is moving towards them, and they have to move towards the Earth as they're orbiting, as they're going around the Milky Way. And by the time you catch up to the Earth, there's no going back, because it's impossible to come out and actually catch up to the Earth that's so far ahead of you, because the Earth is always moving in one direction. Causality is my most ambitious franchise. I want to make a series of Hollywood movies. Now, if you wrote a story with my species of time travelers in it, that does not exclude you from ever getting the rights to publish it. But you have to actually honor the franchise itself. So we're really trying to make the movies, or the movies are already made and you're made as a side story in that franchise. And it's scary but in Causality, there's a prophecy kind of interpretation of how time travel works, in which everything that's meant to happen happens. It's a blocked universe, and it's snapped together in an uncomfortable way when they fold back the universe. And there could be dangers to destroy the entire fabric of reality and causality. in terms of the zombies. I hate when I say in terms of, that's something I say so many times. That the causality could damage reality. You get heartburn, diarrhea, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea, and psychosis when the time travelers are at risk of a grandfather paradox, in which case it would rupture a certain area of the universe. And I don't have it all. It's not perfectly, because there are zombies in causality that they have to destroy the zombies. And supposedly all the zombies that got turned into zombies in the movie I made is an action movie about space ninjas versus zombies. And there's exposition that says that the time travelers are the ones that would become sick if they're at risk of damaging it. And that's just causality. I mean, move on to the next one. Okay, Alicia in Wonderland is about space pirates. You know, on Ancient Aliens, how they believe there's aliens in Antarctica and aliens live here and they're not able to leave. In this concept, we're writing stories about the aliens need to integrate with the world. There's an alien disclosure that happened before my movie, and they need to integrate with the world in order to have funding for their cities, so they don't have to make dirty business deals with governments that don't need to have their technology. They need to make money. And it's going to be a gradual progression about integration between the aliens and aliens living among humans in an extreme minority. And like 1 out of 1 million people could be an alien in a city. There could be like 2 aliens in an entire city. And this is the citizens that are like, it's an integration kind of movie about the alien, kind of world, not movie. My movie is about getting a girlfriend that's an alien. The girlfriend in my movie, she worked in the U.S. Embassy for the aliens as a correspondent about alien rights, about their rights and how they're being treated. And she runs away because they won't help her, and she gets a boyfriend. And then when they're being brought back to Area 51 to make sure that they're able to know what to say and know who these people are, they get abducted by aliens and they take them to Antarctica. And the main characters are like these 3 humans and the 1 alien get an opportunity to be part of a team of they get supplies. They go to USA and get commercial products like foods and beverages and bring them back to Antarctica in a spaceship. And it's like Firefly, but it's like the space pirates just are running products back and forth and supplying the Antarctic base with truckloads or UFO loads of consumables and foods and beverages that the aliens like. And that's how it ends, and that's what the show would be about. And it would be like Firefly, because it would be about the entire dealings of the aliens on the Earth. And the 5th and final franchise I have for an original world that could be in sci-fi, take place on the Earth, is an Island of the Dr. Monroe remake. In the Island of Dr. Monroe, they're lacking in the purpose or the cause or why he's using vivisection to put animal parts on people. It's a modern day story making adaptations in which you're able to give humans enhancements, and they're offering surgeries in which if you need a surgery, they can give you a surgery, but they also want to do an experimental surgery on you after you heal. And the experimental surgery, you're being paid as a research subject, and you live on the dark lab of Dr. Murray compound. And I don't know how it should be a TV show. So all of these, if I didn't already say it, it would be a TV show. So if you write for them, if you want to get it on television, it could be in the TV show. It uses my characters. If it doesn't, it would be pushing my show in terms of being on a team and saying, this is the goal for the entire project, to make my movies and my TV show, and you can still write for it as a writer. In Dark Lab of Dr. Murray, they're doing they're going to connect. They have these two animals. They make sure the blood types are right on the animals, and they surgically transplant functional additional organs and things to humans that are functional for how they worked on the animal, that the humans didn't have this ability, and now they have the ability. So in Dark Lab, two of the characters are they're testing out the Matrix mind implant, and they get a married couple or a couple that's deeply in love, and at first they connect the married couple to each other, and then that's how the movie ends. But then in the show, eventually they separate them, and they start to use computer input things on because you have this long ponytail now, and they can either connect to each other or they can connect to the computer, and they're using the computer to test out how the signals would need to be in order to build a Matrix technology. And these are 5 franchises that are sci-fi that I think are deeply original. Tell me if you've seen them before. I think they're original because I came up with all of them based upon my dreams and my philosophies on making science fiction better. I'm going to post this video. I probably delete it one day. I'll probably delete it. This is just something to get me through the winter. I'm looking for writers to team up with me to make sure that I'm not alone during the winter, and we can expand. If you're looking for an idea, an original sci-fi premise, and you can use one of my premises to write your book or your screenplay, and you have to make sure it pushes my work, but you can use my idea for one of my ideas for your screenplay or your book to push my work, but you can also publish your work, and you have to be loyal, be faithful to the person that's trying to make the movies and the TV shows. Okay, thank you. Amen. Okay. I don't know how to do these videos. Watch my movie Schizophrenia the movie and watch New Devils 2024, and they both deal with some original concepts. Schizophrenia, like, I feel like people would be mad at me for making Schizophrenia for just taking a really good idea and not making a good movie, and they'd be mad at me for owning the rights to it. Thank you.